Friends, Brian here for Yes You Can Play Guitar. Back in the 80s, getting into guitar. Had a few years of trying to teach myself. I sucked pretty bad. Some might argue I still do. My first pedal ever was a Boss heavy metal pedal. Okay, pretty cheesy, whatever, but at the time I had a little crappy Marshall combo amp that probably was made in the late 60s, early 70s and been through the ringer. I didn't know any better when I got it. But having that little pedal to add some distortion was pretty cool. But after that, I wanted to get more pedals. And I remember, I didn't know a lot about them. This is before I started taking formal lessons. And I went in to the music store. In fact, it was Steve's Music in downtown Ottawa, Ontario, Canada, capital of Canada, in the late 80s. And the guy that helped me out, he said, "How can I help you today?" And I said, "I'd like to get some pedals. Do you have any pedals?" "Yeah, I have. I'm just starting out on guitar. I have a heavy metal pedal." And he said, "Okay, well, the next one you need really is a chorus." And I'm standing there going, "Chorus? What is chorus?" And he said, "Have you ever heard the song Run to You from Bryan Adams?" I said, "In fact, I have." Well, that song in the beginning is an example of chorus effect on a guitar. And I said, "Okay, very interesting." So I took his word for it. My first pedal I bought was a super chorus. Now guys, if you've ever been in musician's hell, this is not the one that I actually bought. I actually got this one used last summer and I got it for a steal of a price. So this is a super chorus Ch1, okay? I was on the road hunting for gear one weekend, a while ago. Went on a gear road trip. So this one here, when I look at my first listing on Reverb, US $140.65 plus $10 shipping. So you're looking at over 150 American dollars before you get the pedal. That is not an uncommon price for used chorus pedals. I've seen a lot of them well over $100. I paid $80 Canadian. $80 Canadian equals so much American, right? I think that was a score. I was very happy with that. I went out to the middle of nowhere to get it. Super Chorus by Boss. Gotta have a chorus pedal for your basic pedal board. If you don't know what chorus is, I'm gonna do a video about it. This was a score. Now this is in Canadian funds, $80 Canadian. What does this retail for brand new? We all know as musicians, things happen. We need money. Some people have kids, some people get into bad habits, let's say. Sometimes you think, I'm done. You have a bad band experience. You're like, I'm done with bands. And you sell your equipment. Then years later, you're kicking yourself when you got to buy it again. So this is not the original Super Chorus pedal I had. But anyway, the chorus, it's a great, great effect. I only have one application for it. I use it when I'm playing clean chords. What chorus actually does, it's an effect that duplicates the sound from your guitar and puts it slightly at a time, slightly out of tune. So it sounds like there's more than one instrument playing. When you're playing clean, ballady type songs, it really adds a nice lush effect to the sound. Some people will use it on their overdriven sound. That sound was never for me, but it sounds kind of cool. But I only use it for one application, but it's so good, I like to have it in my pedal board. So here's my sound without the effect. Now here's my sound with the effect. I don't want to copyright there. I don't want to get sued. You know what I'm saying? Jeez, I'll be careful with that chord progression. So by replicating the sound and putting it slightly out of tune and a little bit out of time, I like the way it sounds with clean guitar passages. I think it really adds a nice flavor, nice texture when you're playing clean chords. That is the only time I use it. Let's look here at the 4 settings. Okay, again, I always find the sweet spot is about halfway. So for the effects level, it's on half. That's how much of the effect you want in your signal. We have our EQ, again, how much presence you want in your sound. And here we have the rate. Now the rate's an interesting one, okay? I don't like going past half with that. For the most part, the rate is the wave sound. It's how much you want in your sound. So if we crank that up, it gets a little weird. For me anyway, you might like it. not too much. It's too much for my ear. Where the one knob where I'll go past half is depth. I like depth. How thick you want the effect in the sound. Now, if you listen back to 80s rock bands, hard rock bands, you'll hear a lot of chorus with their overdrive effects. It's not a sound that I think really is my thing, but some people, Zakk Wylde, for example, would be a famous guitar player who uses it in his overdriven sound sometimes. It's kind of a neat sound. And let's give it a listen. Let's try it. Okay. Not my cup of tea, but for some people they really like it and it works for them, and that is fantastic. So for me, chorus is a definite must in my pedal board. Love it on my clean chords. As a guideline, when I use a super chorus, everything's on half. The depth I might crank up all the way, but it's usually either half or all the way up. But it's an effect that I love, and it's an absolute must in my pedal board. Again, I'm going to stress, you have to remember when you're playing live, you're going to be around people who are drinking and kind of acting disorderly, and you never know what's going to happen. So I always found using pedals, and again, I'm not sponsored by any company, folks, they're a lot harder to damage, and if they get damaged, they're a lot less expensive to replace. So that is a definite pedal in my pedal board. Remember, practice hard, but practice smart. We'll see you soon.